Yes, hi. What a great segue. What you're talking about there is really a bias and a blindness to huge moral and logical inconsistencies. How do we do that? So I have a question for you, and hopefully a discussion to follow. To propose COVID natural herd immunity, letting it just run through a population as public policy, is the textbook dictionary definition. You don't know politics, just pure meaning of words. Textbook dictionary definition of Trump COVID genocide, and in this case, specifically by intent, eugenic genocide.
All right, we've got that. Let's get an answer. Herd immunity, genocide, President Trump.
One of the problems about theories that are frankly illogical and nonsensical is they often incorporate some small degree of accuracy. They will take something that is actually real and infuse so much fiction into them and so much, illogical assumption, but it has that lingering soufflon of credibility. That's what happened with term herd immunity. There is such a thing as herd immunity. It does exist. It's not what these people are talking about. And more to the point, what these people are talking about is very dangerous. Allowing a virulent disease to rip through a community is suicidal. Virulence is complicated, and if you want to know more about it, there's an excellent book by Paul Ewald called Plague Time that goes into great detail. But basically, when you do that, when you allow a disease to proceed unchecked, you're elevating the risk of all kinds of things. For example, that disease, when it's going through the population unchecked, will kill many more people. We've already lost, between half and 750,000 people to this illness in the country. So how many more will die if we're allowing it to proceed unchecked? And that's assuming it doesn't remain more virulent, which it probably will. Becomes more virulent if we have, for example, variants that are even more dangerous, then things will escalate. Things may escalate to the point that we end up with variants that we can't design a vaccine against or design it more quickly. It's a suicidal supposition. And it also is frankly illogical. It doesn't even make sense to a person who has absolutely no training or education. Lay people will find this should find this completely illogical. And yet it's something that's being proposed. A lot of things are being proposed, but it's really, really important to not rely upon things that sound logical, but rely upon the experience of epidemiologists who can understand the things that can occur. So what's really most important is that if you ask someone like Dr. Anthony Fauci or any other epidemiologist about this, Peter Hotez, they will all quite clearly explain to you why it is a fallacious concept. And yet you've got people, thanks to the internet, being catalyzed to spread these kind of very dangerous rumors. I'm glad that you brought it up because it just can't be castigated enough. We have to be very careful not to listen to these kind of things and ignore experts.
Harriet Washington of Columbia University has been our guest for the past 2 hours on Book TV. She is the author of 6 books, the most recent being this, Carte Blanche, The Erosion of Medical Consent. Thank you for your time this afternoon.